Crypto Excel. It's not financial advice, it never is. As we continue to bring you the info on our education and entertainment. Let's get it. I hope everything is all right with you and yours. Put vitamins in this. Need it for the energy. Let's get it. Let's go. All right, guys. So Bitcoin on the daily. As predicted, we've been oscillating. Okay. Remember, I said at this point, anything can happen with the price of Bitcoin um, as we get closer and closer to the halving. So there is actually a possibility of us going up to around 68K. And after hitting around 68K, it's a possibility of coming back down, right? So the halving is further out. It's in April 20th, roughly. I don't know why the chart is snapping the way it is. The line is snapping the way it is, but it's further out. So we have around two weeks left before the halving, right? So it's a possibility we try to attempt to reclaim a higher high, or we test the resistance, and then we end up getting a slight retracement. These retracements, in my opinion, are buy the dip opportunities. They're not a time to panic. And yeah, let's talk about panicking, right? Now, we've seen our portfolios have this retracement, and our portfolios have retraced more than Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin goes down 20%, our portfolios go down 40%. And it does not feel good at all. Especially when we're used to getting the dopamine hits that we've been getting, which have been up only. I mean, look at this huge green bar. We're used to going up only. So when we see a retracement, it just doesn't feel good. Something feels wrong with the world, right? Something's wrong with the force. You're just not as happy as normal. And what I like to say is that the people who make the most money in this market, in markets in general, and especially the crypto markets, the people that make the most money are those that can control their emotions. To be able to see yourself in third person and look at the charts objectively, look at the lines and data objectively. Objectively, we've been on an upwards trajectory now for over a year. We've just been going up, right? So this pullback actually is a blessing. The more we oscillate and we stay around these ranges, is the longer the bull market goes. The more we do what is predicted and what is expected around these ranges, is the more it asserts the information, the premise of the 4 year cycle, right? So we're supposed to be oscillating around this area. We're not supposed to just go straight up to 120K Q2 of 2024, right? If we do, then if you do, then that creates more of a credence to the argument that the 4 year cycle has been altered and we've reached all time highs earlier. And also, if we go straight up, we probably will come straight back down. And again, that could ruin the length of the cycle. It creates more of a possibility for the cycle length changing. So I would rather us go sideways for a little while, right? And I know it's painful and it doesn't feel good, but looking at it objectively, that means it gives us more time to accumulate, right? Because the more time you have to accumulate is the more altcoins you have. And then then if you look at the last halving, if you're accumulating here and you're getting more altcoins here, right? When you get that parabolic leg and your portfolio does a 10x, you have a 10x on two times a bigger bag, right? So now the probabilities of you making life changing money increases. So I don't mind us oscillating around these levels for some time, because that allows me to get even a bigger position than before, right? So even though it does not feel good in the short term, because you've had yay much amount of crypto, and now you have yay much amount of crypto value, US dollar value, or fiat currency value. You now have more coins than you did before. So the quantity of your coins increases. And then when you have the 3x, 4x increase in your bag, it's increasing on a bigger base. So it's actually a blessing in disguise, right? If we were to move on and we look at the crypto bubbles, we see that we're coming back green. We're green today, right? If you look in the weekly, we're red. Monthly, we're a mixed bag, which is interesting. I thought I would just see red. Um, but on the daily, we're green. So we're probably heading back up. We're probably going to test that resistance at some point around 68K, somewhere around there. And depending what we do there, is going to let us know what we'll be doing for the next coming weeks. Okay, so we could either start breaking that, or we can get rejection and then we come back down to a stronger retracement. Should we come down to a stronger retracement? Not financial advice, but I will be getting in more. I will be getting in heavy at these points. Not that I don't have a bag already, because I do, but the only thing better than a bag of crypto is a bigger bag of crypto, right? So just keep an eye on that to see what's going on. And also make sure you have a plan A and a plan B. Plan A, if Bitcoin goes to 85K, do you have a plan to take some profit, right? Not completely out of the market, but do you have a plan to on how you're going to take profit, right? Plan B, if Bitcoin were to get rejected at 68K and we end up coming back down to the high 50s, 59K, do you have a plan to accumulate more coins on the way down? Do you have cash reserves on the side? And where do you store your crypto? Is your crypto only locked on exchanges, which may go under, which may freeze your account, or which may tell you some kind of lie and steal your money? Um, are you only on exchanges, or do you have decentralized wallets? Under decentralized wallets, do you have any cold storage? Just make sure you have a plan for this, because we're already in a risky industry, and this is not FDIC insured. And even if it was, you're literally dealing with everyone trying to take your crypto, right? You have scammers trying to take your crypto, you have the exchanges trying to take your crypto, and you may have some greedy government officials trying to take your crypto. So everywhere you look, there's someone trying to take your crypto. So just make sure you have a plan. Um, if something were to happen and you're no longer here, does your family members have access to your private keys so they can access your crypto? I mean, I have to bring these things up because these are all things to consider. No one is expecting the unexpected, but crypto is a market where the unexpected happens every day. This is a unique market, okay? This is the wild, wild west of investing. So while it's possible to lose everything in crypto, it's possible. I've seen, Terra Luna, the likes of multi-billion-dollar projects go to zero, right? So while that can happen, you can also make 100x your money. You could literally put $2,000 into crypto, and that 2,000 could turn into like 400,000 or 200,000, right? So that could also happen. Just make sure that you have the proper structure set up for both scenarios. Make sure also you're able to keep a record of your transactions so that you're able to handle the tax situation, because that is another thing that no one is thinking about, or a lot of people are not thinking about. Do know that all of this stuff is being monitored, and they probably have AI that's tracking your blockchain to know what your P&L is. So if you don't know your P&L, there's a good chance they do. and they might wait 3 years until they tell you that we know your P&L. Um, and I know it's uncomfortable and it doesn't feel good to talk about any of this information, but I feel that I have an obligation to, disclose the kind of information I know, even though I am not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto friend, and I'd like to give you this kind of information and put this to the forefront so you can think about some of these things and plan appropriately for the future. And the people who are planning appropriately for the future, segue, please, drum roll, into the Patreon. The Patreon have been getting this kind of information up to date, quickly, accurate, and even before the rest of the market even pays attention to what's going on. I've been giving and divulging information, and they are ahead of the game, right? So if you want to be ahead of the game with them, I recommend that you check out the Patreon early instead of later. You're probably going to join this Patreon, just so you know, but you want to join it now instead of 6 months from now, because you'll be missing a lot of information. You'll be missing 6 months of information that you catch on to later when everything is 10x the value of what it is now. So speaking of some of this information, segue please. Octavia VIA. Do you remember when I was bringing this gem to you and I also told you that it was going to moon? We were getting in and on the lows. We were DCAing in continuously. By the way, so you know, the pump is not over in Octavia. It's going to go up, right? Then it's gonna go up, then it's gonna retrace, then it's gonna go up and retrace. It's gonna keep on doing that, but it's gonna be doing it going horizontally. If you zoom out, it's gonna be going horizontally up. Why? Because it has a $13 million market cap. Fully diluted, I know, is 151 million. But do remember that Render and Fetch AI are in 5 billion and 2 billion territory. So there's no telling how high this thing can go, right? And you may ask, well, why is it going to go up? Well, the reason why it's going to go up is because of the use case. It's one of the premier AI gems. It's a Telegram bot that allows you to do trading. It the team is highly efficient and they're connected to AI tech, Open Fabric AI, DexCheck, and ChainGPT. Basically, they're part of the in crowd that are going to be dominating the AI space in this crypto bull market. And it's best to get these kind of projects when they're at $13 million market cap than when they're $2 billion market cap. Because, months from now, when everything's going crazy and Bitcoin's at 100 something thousand, people are going to be coming in and the price of this is going to be ridiculously high. And they're going to be trying to buy this thing at $8. But, you would have bought for $1.52, or better yet, down here at a dollar, $1.24, etc. with the Patreon, if you were part of the Patreon. That's why I say it's better to join earlier than later, because it's inevitable. I am inevitable. I just clicked out and got rid of all the old bad meme coins. That's what I just did. All right, so AI tech, virtual assistant. They also, oh yeah, I wanted to bring up the launch pad, right? That's one of the reasons why this is going to moon really, really quick. Um, they have a launch pad. Also to note, if you want to get AI tech, it's on Gate AI. I'm sorry, it's on Gate.io, Mexi, and PancakeSwap, as well as other exchanges. You can see in CoinMarketCap, right? BitGet, BingX, um, OpenOcean, HostCoin, never heard of them. But basically, they're in a lot of exchanges, a lot of liquidity. It's AI by a strong team that knows what they're doing, great use case. Plus, they have a launch pad. I wanted to talk about the launch pad, right? So let me bring this information up. 1 second here. So basically, with their launch pad, this was actually mentioned way, way back. I was mentioning this to you before they were really talking that much about their launch pad. And I did say that this was going to moon. You had a chance to buy AI Tech at a dollar because it was at a dollar at some point. It was retracing. And I was doing my Paul Revere telling you that AI Tech is coming and it's going to moon. right? And you all laughed at me. No, but this is really going to be one of the premier altcoins, AI coins. Is going to garner a great reward and return this bull market. I put vitamins in here, and basically you have 6 tiers. The base tier is only 200 VIA. So at the current price of $1.50, that would run you $300 for the base tier. Then you have the bronze tier at 500 VIA. Then you have silver. Then you have gold. You have emerald, and you have elite. For those that are serious, that have really good finances and are able to afford it, again, I would not put money into this thing that you need for this year. I would not do that because it's crypto and crypto is risky, and you'll be staking and you won't have access to your crypto and anything can happen. And I'm not a financial advisor. But that all being said, the emerald tier is 10,000 VIA, right? Um, and the point system is basically if you stake for 1 year, it takes your amount of VIA and it multiplies it by 1.5, right? So you get a 50% boost for 1 year of staking. So that means that if you get 10,000 VIA, right, and that would make you an emerald. But if you stake this for a year, right, there's stake durations, different stake durations. If you stake it for a year, you get a 50% boost. So your 10,000 VIA will give you 15,000 in VIA points, which will boost your emerald tier to emerald elite. As an emerald elite, you will be getting the highest allocation for tiers in VIA. Now, how much allocation would that be? Well, they did not give you a breakdown of how much that would be in dollars terms, right? So the only thing I could do is to speculate and give you my 2 cents. And I reiterate, this is not confirmed by the team. But I would assume that if you are on the highest tier of a brand new crypto launch pad that has not come out yet, that means that you're not in competition with as many people because people don't, the herd doesn't come until the price goes parabolic and everyone already has it, right? An example of this is Seedify. It's not until Seedify is $300 million that everyone doesn't start talking about. At that point, everyone starts to talk about Seedify, and it's the premier launch pad. Once it's the premier launch pad, and the price goes up to $4, $4.50, $6 a Cetify each coin, that's when more people start to buy it, right? And that's when you get people who put $50,000 into Cetify and they end up getting a $100 allocation, right? So that's how that works, right? So, being the fact that this is a brand new launch pad, may I also clarify that it is a um, seed sale and private sale launchpad. It is not an IDO launchpad. So with seed sales and private sales, you get a a lower price when you buy. So you get about a 20-25% discount on the IDO price, which is astronomical because I anticipate these projects, by the way, if you're looking for ROI, not financial advice, clarifying everything I'm saying again, but if you're looking for ROI, um, these projects will probably on average do around a 10x. So that's 10 times your money. And you're getting them for a lower price than you would get them on an ideal launchpad such as Seedify or Engine Starter. Shout out to the two teams from Seedify and Engine Starter. I like your work. But basically, you're getting projects at a huge discount. Now, the drawback for joining a private sale and a seed sale launchpad is that you will have to wait a longer time for your complete allocation to be received, right? And they have cliffs. So a cliff basically is, I'll give you an example. So let's say you get 8% of your allocation on TGE, on token generation events. So you get 8% of your tokens, and then there's a 3 month cliff. That means for 3 months after that, you don't get anything at all. Meanwhile, the IDO launchpad people are getting allocations. They're getting payments every month, maybe 10% a month. Meanwhile, you're not getting anything for those 3 months. But then on the fourth month, you start receiving your 10% a month, right? So that's what a cliff is. A cliff is basically a waiting period until you can get any allocations. So this is what happens on private sale launch pads. There's a lot of cliffs, right? And then after that, you start getting your allocation. But the advantage that you have is you pay 20% less for the price of the tokens. So that's your advantage. So what you're hoping is that we have an extended bull run to Q4 of 2025, because if that happens, you come out ahead because you paid less. Your multiples are going to be a lot higher. So let's say the project does a 40x during the bull run. Well, for you, it's going to be a 55x because you bought cheaper. But again, that only works if we go to Q4 of 2025. If the peak of the bull market were to happen earlier, like let's say June of 2025, and you didn't get your full allocation, that means that you would have done better on a launch pad instead of a private sale launch pad, right? So you have to manage your risk and make your decision. What I would do is I would get both, right? I would get the private sale launch pad, such as Octavia or DexCheck, um, and I would also get a public sale launch pad, such as Engine Starter or Seedify, right? Most likely Engine Starter because I get a bigger allocation than Seedify, right? So that is how I would look at this. But I wanted to bring this to your attention because currently the market cap of Octavia is around $13 million, which means that not many people have the token in comparison to how many people will have the token, and in comparison to an established launchpad that's already out there, right? So that means that since not many people have the token, when there is a complete allocation to be distributed, that means you'll get a bigger share of it, right? So back to allocation, because that's what everyone cares about. They want to know, how much of an allocation am I going to get for the money I invest? I can only guess at this point, right? Because there's no data at all. So my guess could be 100% accurate, or it could be completely wrong, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But if I were to guess, it could be pretty high, actually. It could be anywhere from, I don't know, man, probably around $1,400. And again, this is just a guess, guys. So, don't crucify me if we come out and the numbers are completely different. But the only reason I'm giving you an estimate at all for Emerald Elite, the only reason I'm doing that is because as an investor, I would want to know, right? The team has been tight-lipped, as they should be, because nothing's finalized. Just, they were working out deals with different projects, and I'm sure there's a lot going on behind private doors. So if you want me to give you the real number, well, that's like asking me to give you the real number of where Bitcoin, what's the height of Bitcoin in 2025? What's the height? I could only put this information out there based on, scientific guesses, my hypothesis, my thesis, right? Um, but bottom line is, if I was going to acquire any tier in this launch pad, I would do it earlier instead of later. Today it's been pumping. It's pumped quite a lot. It went up to $1.65. Maybe just put it in the back burner, in the back of your mind, that should we have a market crash, should the market come down, um, that this would be a good project to accumulate. Okay, just to put it in your back mind, the back of your mind. Now, if I didn't have any at all and I wanted to get some access, maybe I could get lower tier, does DCA in to get a lower tier, and then if the market crashes, then accumulate heavy to get a higher tier. Right, that's a good strategy to have. All right. Again, these are just suggestions that I'm putting out there. Do whatever you want, right? It's your money, your investment, and you understand the risk. Um, that DYOR, do your own research. It's not just a catchphrase, guys. It's really important for you to do your own research in crypto. That's how you garner the most gains. You really have to dig into it and decide what's best for you because it is your money at the end of the day. But for me, I've been getting in obviously because literally I do videos on it, right? And I have a Patreon. So obviously I've been getting in. And another disclaimer, just to let you know, if I talk about projects on my channel, there's a very, very good chance that I own some of them, right? I'm not going to do videos, 100 videos on projects that I don't care about, right? That's not what I'm doing here. I don't have paid sponsorships. There's no one sponsoring me. It's a small channel anyway, so it's unlikely that I'll be sponsored at this point. But you can go and check my track return or the history of the projects that I've brought to your attention. You can see the prices that they were when I was talking about them originally and the prices that they are today. And be advised that the Patreons are getting information before my videos are made because there's way too much going on in crypto for me to do a video on every segment. There's way too much going on in my personal life for me to do a video on everything I think about. I literally do not have the time. So I do make time to bring you guys some information because I'm like, if I was in crypto just coming in, I would like to tune into a channel like this so I can know what's going on. I don't bring any videos on this channel that are irrelevant. Every video that I put on here is like, really good information, um, in my opinion. And Octavia, I feel is going to be one of the projects that garner a lot of interest and a lot of attention this cycle. And where the attention and the interest goes, where the eyes go, that's where the money goes, right? So do make sure that you pay attention to what's going on here. um, don't take it lightly. Don't think that it's a joke because something like this that starts out as a snowball could turn into an avalanche, right? You don't know where this could end up. And I would want some exposure, if even back here, just, I'll get a little exposure here if I didn't have any. And if something happens, right? So I could always get exposure and stake it for a year. Oh, let's talk about the staking, right? I could stake it for a year because I know this is one of the biggest contentions that people have. Is that I don't know what's going to happen in the market and I don't want my crypto locked up because what if I need to sell and I can't because I'm staked for a year? I'm only going to stake here at the 3%, right? And it sounds smart. It's very, very smart. Guys, you don't want to be the smartest. Um, you don't want to outsmart yourself in a bull market, right? Because the people who make the most money in a bull market, Ivan and Tech said it best, are the people at the two ends of the spectrum. You have the noob, which doesn't know anything and is completely mindless and does like buys a pretty cat coin because it's cute, and then they end up making $1 million, right? And then you have the super analytical, super smart, mega mind genius of Thanos over here that has a plan that's inevitable, right? So you have those two guys. Then you have the people in the middle. Now, the people in the middle are most people, right? And the most people over here, you have the guys over here that are like in the middle of the spectrum that are analyzing and that are saying what I just said. I don't want to have my crypto locked in because I don't want to lose money if I need to sell, right? Guys, when I got into the market, right, I was buying Dex Check and I staked it for the longest period of time, and I had a huge APR like this, right? Looking back at it, I'm glad I did that because now I get a huge percentage of my. It also helps me when it's time for allocation. The allocation is based on how long you staked, right? So if you stake for the longest period, 365 days, your allocation based on that, in comparison to the 30 days, the weight that you get is huge. Like 30 days, maybe something like 5% more boost, and over here, 365 days boost is 50%, right? So it's night and day. So I would just go ahead and stake for the year. Secondly, compound interest or your reward, your APR at this point is 30% versus 3% here. So it's a 10x difference, right? So don't try to outthink yourself and outthink yourself out of games. I know it seems really, really smart, but it's best to be a bull in a bull market. You could be bearish in a bear market and you'll do really, really well. In a bull market, you want to be a bull, right? So basically, the reason why my channel is successful and the reason why my investment is successful